Been in this community for a month. My name is Siddharth, originally from India. Been working in customer relationship management for some time, drafting different journeys in Berlin and in Germany in general. Also worked in customer support, so this gave me a overall understanding of how to improve my career. I would say before joining the academy, I was a little less confident. Like I knew I had the skills to get hired, but joining the academy gave me like a fresh perspective. I always believe that when it comes to perspective, a fresh set of eyes on any topic, anything in general is very good. When it came to my job search, I always think like as an individual, you always believe you're doing the right thing. But then when you get a different perspective from someone else who tells you, hey, maybe you could do this better. Maybe your CV format is not nice or something like that. It's just nice to get a different set of eyes. So that's why I joined the community. And then I met some really amazing people here as well as you. So, I mean, to begin with, so yeah. Also, maybe a different way to do things, like how to network, for example, is something that I really learned while joining this community. What I mean by, like, for example, I used to send LinkedIn requests to people, but I really never saw the value. But when I joined here, I was like, yeah, there is a value in it because I got one or two calls purely on just talking to people in LinkedIn. And I've seen the community in LinkedIn is amazing. Like, for example, now, like, since I've connected with over 1 month, almost 300 connections just within CRM, I'm already seeing how it's very beneficial in that sense because I even found hidden jobs like that. So that's something that I would recommend anyone in this community if you're working in, especially in customer relations, in customer success, whatever, I mean, which are very customer facing roles.
What was your experience since joining the Justice Academy throughout the whole month?
I mean, I would say there's been a lot of ups and downs, and in this perspective, I think the mindset calls helps because, for example, the main focus or the main idea for me was like I'm meeting a set of like-minded people who are going through the same challenges, same problems, same situations. Sometimes you even are saying like, can I really get this job? Is it even possible? I mean, this is something that you ask yourself like 300 times a day. Like, I'm not even exaggerating about the number of times I told myself that, is it possible in this market? Is it really like, why am I not getting hired?
What was a specific win and result or breakthrough that you had?
I would say I learned how to network with, let's say, people on LinkedIn. That's very important for me because, for example, I realized that job search has different steps. So it's not just about, okay, submitting your CV blindly to 120 companies. And yeah, of course, it works, but that also works, but that's a different strategy, right? Like if you want to just apply, you can apply, and at some point, someone will hire you. That's it. But it's more about like you have a better chance in applying strategically. What I mean by this is like if you're if you have selected a target area and if you are only focusing on that area, for example, for me it was lifecycle marketing and CRM, and if you only are focusing on that, I have seen better results that way than just mass applying or randomly applying. And also connecting with people working in the industry is also a very important plus, I would say, like because I've had like for example, especially in CRM, it's so interconnected. One brand strategy can work for another brand, for example. So, I mean, when you connect with like fellow CRM people, like now I'm saying like I'm becoming a kind of mini celebrity on LinkedIn where people on CRM are looking at my profile, which has never happened before, right? Because before it was like, yeah, okay, some people are looking and some people are even reaching out to me saying, hey, would you like to collaborate, freelance, blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, congratulating me and then asking me personally, oh, are you looking to drive, let's say, retention strategy for your company, or are you just interested in some stuff in general? Because I'm following like people at a really high level, I would say, like people who've been working in CRM for 15, 20 years and they know what they're doing, basically. So that's something I would say is important, like adopt a strategy which works for you. Like, for example, maybe networking doesn't work for you and only applying works. So you have to decide also what works for you. That is also very important. You can't just assume that, okay, because for me, networking worked, for someone else, it might work or vice versa. And not everyone is open. That also I realize. So if you're networking, like also keep in mind that some people will tell you like, hey man, just go through the regular process. Why are you wasting my time here? Like, I'm trying to do something important, like people are always keeping that high hat or their ego up. So that's
Mhm.
also something that you deal with as a job seeker, which is also important to remind yourself that, okay, this guy is fine. I mean, I'll find another person who's willing to help, or not help, but more like who's willing to listen. That is important because as a job seeker, you need someone to listen and tell you, okay, yeah, maybe I know some role that suits your profile, or even if they can't help you, like say in a polite way, because even I've told some people like, I'm sorry, I can't help you because I'm not the right person, basically. So, I mean, it would be nice if you connect with so and so working in say so and so department, for example. So that's also something.
Nice. Would you recommend this to any other job seeker out there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, it made a real difference in terms of changing my approach towards anything I do when it comes to job search. Like, it's not like I learned like job search is not just about your resume, it's about the entire package that you bring. So, it's like how you sell yourself, how you are towards a recruiter, like how motivated you are. Because, for example, it can be very demotivating, especially if you have been in job search for say 6 months plus, which was my case previously. Like, I was almost looking for a job before Lavani for 2 years. So that is also something that I wanted to share with the community, that time my approach was like I was completely like, yeah, I will take any job I get right now. And luckily, I got something that I could do pretty well in, and then now I got a much better role. So everything is a learning experience, and I think that if facing a challenge now, I mean, it's not meant to stay, right? Because at the end of the day, my belief is if you want to change something about yourself or about your life's journey, you can always do it. You just have to be stubborn enough to do it. I mean, stubborn, what I mean by stubborn is in a very positive way. So, like, I would definitely recommend this to someone who is going through a job search, not just because that they're going through a job search, but more like getting a fresh perspective and just in general using the resources, the tips and tricks will always mold your job search in a very different way. Like, yeah, that's what I would say.
And what would you recommend to someone that is under job search and is struggling? What helped you the most? What did you do the most that kept you going until the offer? Because you had also a lot of interviews
Yeah.
and some final, but you were rejected in like after the case study. And so how did you go through that point?
I mean, in the mindset, you tell yourself, right? It's all about the mindset or it's all about the way you approach things. And at that point, I told myself, like, probably there's a better company out there. And it's not a loss for me, it's a loss for them because they're missing out on an individual who can work hard and scale things to the next level and basically make their business grow. So, I mean, if you tell yourself this, that I am someone who's special and I will get hired by the right special company, that is also important because you can easily give up after like getting rejected in three final rounds. And I never gave up because I was like, yeah, there is a company out there for me. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Basically, I like to use that philosophy for job seeking because sometimes the tunnel is dark, but then at the end you find your way. That's something that the job seeker, it's easier said than done for sure. Like you have to train yourself in terms of come to the mindset calls. This is something that I really like. I mean, the stories were really nice. Like, I mean, it's also not just that, but it's also hearing other people's
Mm.
perspective in terms of not just the coach, as in you, Olga, or Anna, or Miruna, but more even hearing other people going through different issues, like how they overcame it. For example, Abhishek, Luis are some examples that I would share already with the community, and I would encourage these people who are joining to like network. Networking is very important because if you're in the community, I think that you network with people who share the same challenges. Talk to them. I mean, if you're not a people person, I would say just even like I don't know, like you just talk to just the coaches as well is enough, but you need someone to share your trouble. If you're not comfortable with the members of the community, you talk to your partner, you talk to your boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, whatever. I mean, that also makes a difference because you need someone at the end to believe in the struggle you're going through and say, yeah, hey, it's okay, you will get there. Like, don't worry yourself, like just do the right steps. I think that is also something that is important, like, so
Nice. And just to finalize, what is one tip that you would give? job seeker that started or is starting the academy?
I would say one tip is very difficult, but because I have a lot of ideas. But okay, I would say just try to be motivated and try to have that perseverance, the can-do attitude. I would say. I mean, this is one thing that is really important in job search because you can get lost, you can get sidetracked easily. Because, for example, like people are telling me like, hey, why are you looking? I mean, when in my job search, for example. I was so like, oh, you should focus on the language. And I'm like, no, I want to get an English speaking job because I know even if I learn German, I cannot do CRM in German.
Mm.
It's impossible. But I'm sorry, but it's not possible. Like there are people doing CRM in German for 20 years and even sometimes they are confused about what German was to use. Just an example. So if you tell me what's my biggest strength, like use your English. English is an international language. It will get you hired. It's not possible in this age of AI and technology that you cannot get a job in English in Europe. You know, it's not the 1400s where you're living with the Romans or with the Spanish conquistadors or something like that. No, you have to habla español, for example, and get hired that way. But no, now, I mean, the point is like the biggest advantage that people in this community have is they understand some level of English, some better than others. I mean, I'm not judging. I'm just saying like just use that to your advantage and get hired because even some of the German people I know don't speak very good English, but they speak English, right? So that's the thing. Anyone who wishes can connect with me on LinkedIn and follow my journey further. And yeah, I'm a person who's very talkative. So if you need any tips, you can bother me anytime, just not during 9 to 5, but after that is fine. But yeah.